Some lady
Hello, friends. What you're about to watch is hilarious. It's informative. It's a little alarming. It's intriguing, and it's a lot of fun. The production quality isn't great. It was the first time I was going through and recording stuff, so it's not great, but it adds charm to it, and it's pretty hilarious. And hopefully, I will get better as I continue with my series. So, enjoy the show. Hello, and welcome to Some Lady News. This is a show I came up with an idea for us ladies because we got some lady news to talk about. So this show, we're going to talk about a lot tonight. So first off, who is this show for? This show is for the ladies because we have a lot that we don't talk about that we need to. The show is for the guys because we know that you try to understand us, but there's a lot that you don't understand, but you think you understand, and that's okay. We appreciate the effort. But, let's tune in, see what you can learn. Who the show is not for? The show is not for my dad. Dad, love you so much. Appreciate the support. But no, I don't really think you want to watch this. It's not porn or anything, but yeah, Dad, I really think you should just put the phone down, log off, walk away from the phone. Just leave the phone in the kitchen. All right? Let's give Dad a few seconds to walk away. And okay, let's talk. Let's talk about some lady news. Let's begin with, how did I decide to do this and do it with my face and not a podcast? Because it needed to have my face included, because this is a funny face. What I've realized is I've learned a lot about my body, a lot that I didn't know, a lot that you don't know until you experience it, and the doctors don't sometimes tell you. And so it happens, and it's like, bam, there it is. Surprise, this happened. And with things that have been going on and changing my body, I started talking to some of my friends and realized, yeah, they're experiencing the same thing, and they didn't know either. And it was until I started talking about it, they're like, oh my God, that happened to me too. That's a thing? It's a thing. So we're gonna begin with my personal story. And it's a medical condition that I experienced because of having sex, that I wanted to talk about this and bring some things to light that we don't talk about. So I hadn't had sex in about 4 years. And that was because a relationship broke up back in 2020. It was a pandemic. I didn't have the urge. I experienced menopause when I was about 45 years old. And I hadn't masturbated in like 9 years because when I was with my ex, we had sex all the time. And it wasn't like you have to work me into it. It was like, sex? Sure. And we did. It was great. It was wonderful. And then I stopped. And I learned that use it or lose it is a thing when it comes to your vagina. Who knew? So I decided to make a plan to do sex. Because, that's what you do. Called a friend and said, hey, do you want to see if my stuff still works? Arm twisting. No, not necessary. He was all in. And so we made a plan. The day came. And we did all the right stuff. I got the his and hers. I had to go to Walmart to get that first. Locked in the case. Key was missing. Awful situation when you have to yell 15 feet away why you want something in the locked case to come out. Great. Walmart. Thank you. Went to CVS. It wasn't locked up, so just FYI. So we did, the hugging, the caressing, the kissing, the his and hers that I got from CVS and not Walmart. So while we were beginning and attempting to do sex, well, it got in there. It was the most searing pain I've ever experienced in my life. And while doing it, I was trying to remember what it was like when I was a virgin. Did it feel like that? So I'm trying to have sex then, remembering what it was like back in the day. Sexy thoughts. And I realized that no, I don't think it felt like this back in the day, because if it did, I never would have done it again. Like, ever. Ever. So, my dear friend, he did a little bit, and then he stopped, thankfully. I didn't say anything, because, you know, we do that thing sometimes, ladies, where we're like, take one for the team. It'll be great. You know, we do it, because we do. So, he stopped, and it was difficult. I was very embarrassed, mortified even, like, oh my God, what just happened? And then I was in pain for the next couple of days. I had to take medication because all of the muscles in my lower abdomen area were sore. My vagina was sore, and I couldn't figure out why this was happening. I was 49 years old at the time. What happened to my vagina? What happened? I didn't know. You can't do anything different than what he did, because it's a medical condition. A horrible medical condition. At 49 years old, I had no idea was a thing. And it's a thing. So, why am I sharing this? Having talked to some of my friends and my sister, we didn't know it was a thing. Our doctors don't talk to us about it. It's isolating. It's embarrassing. It's terrifying. And I want that to change. So that's why I decided to do this show. Some lady news, saving one vagina at a time. It's not a medical show. It is not a medical advice show. It's women talking to women about some of the ridiculous things that our bodies do that we don't talk about. And we isolate ourselves, and we feel embarrassed, and we cry, and we hold it all in, because we're women. That's what we do. It's how we work. So, have you seen any of those commercials? You know, Cialis, Viagra, the new one, Sparks. Oh, and that new one too for the guys with the bent penises, curve, Peyronie's disease, right? Seeing them more often. Do you see the commercials for the ladies with the tight vaginas? Nope. And why not? Because first of all, you didn't know you had a tight vagina, and secondly, nobody talks about it. So what about low libido for the ladies, or discomfort in having sex, or women who have a hard time having orgasms? Do you see those commercials? No, you don't. So where do the hard dicks go if they don't have the vaginas? I mean, of course, besides the hand, or like the fleshlight or whatever they do. That's so gross. But this show is more than just about vaginas. It's more than just about my vagina. We're going to talk about so many different things. Not in this show. It's going to be a series of shows. I'm going to talk about what's going on in my life as it's a journey. I'm in the beginning of my journey. But there are so many women that their journey hasn't begun because they didn't know it was a thing. So some of the other stuff we're going to talk about is, for example, low T for the ladies. It's a thing. Did you know that? Because it is. Breast reductions. Women who have breast reductions experience discomfort that I never even knew was a thing. Prolapsed uterus. You know, when you feel like a body part's coming out of your uterus? Because a body part is coming out of your uterus. Hair loss. Women that struggle with hair loss, it's so hard because it's our identity. And I'll talk at some point about this situation. Uterine fibroids. That's a fun one. Yeah. Ooh, parasitic fibroids. You get the extras when you can grow extra stuff. Ovarian cysts. Body dysmorphia. That's an interesting one for me because I'm recording myself right now. I'm talking and I see my face, and I hate seeing my face on a camera. Because in real life, I don't think I look like this. Apparently I do, but this is not what I see when I look in the mirror. Weight loss. Oh, it's a struggle for all of us. Menopause. Oh yeah, love that one. Night sweats. They're great. Getting photos taken too, like the angles. Do you realize how difficult it was for me to get this angle on this phone to make this look remotely okay? Right? Now listen, I don't I know I'm not ugly. I know I'm kind of cute. But still, what I see? Anyway. Most important thing, being your own advocate. That is the advice that this show is going to give. You have to be your own advocate, because if you don't ask the questions, you're not going to get the answers. You don't know what you don't know, and this show is going to try to help you know some of the stuff that you don't know. I want to introduce a few terms. Vocab class back in high school: dyspareunia, vaginal atrophy, and vaginismus. So I'm going to read here for a sec. Got a couple definitions. Remember the flashcards back in high school when you had to do the vocab? That's what I feel like this is like. All right, so dyspareunia is a pelvic floor dysfunction and is frequently underdiagnosed. What a surprise! Lady stuff is underdiagnosed. What? Pain in the opening of the vagina and the surface of the genitalia upon penetration. Some people experience deeper pain as well. Vaginal atrophy. Is that a great vaginal atrophy? Okay, so according to the Cleveland Clinic, frequently affects people transitioning into menopause. I just turned 50. I started menopause at 45. That would have been helpful to know. And then vaginismus, the involuntary tensing of the vagina. Not a good thing. The guys are probably like, ooh, yeah, ooh, tense vagina. No, medical condition. Back to my story. Also, by the way, I got a hernia from having sex, because that happened. That's fantastic. So I've had a crazy 10 years of medical history. I'm not including this here. I mentioned it before. There is a different, you can click on Meet Your Host to learn about my journey to get to this situation. I had already made an appointment with my doctor, but it was 2 weeks out, and I started discussing the situation. And I started to cry. Because here I was, 49 years old, thinking about dating in the fall, having sex, which I used to love, and had the most painful, searing situation happen to me. So I'm driving in my car, and I'm not a very emotional person, and I start to cry because I realize at 49 years old, my vagina doesn't work. What the hell, right? And I said to her, gosh, I'm gonna have to do my online profile. It's gonna have to be got ED, you're for me. You know, erectile dysfunction, because you can't fit anything in there. Get my appointment moved up. So I go to see my GYN. Really nice guy. He's been my GYN for 10 years. And he walks in the room, and I just start to cry. It's devastating. My vagina doesn't work. I'm 49 years old. It doesn't work. I explain the situation, and I'm just crying. And when I cry, I sweat, okay? I'm just having a full-on wetty sweat, crying, hot flash disaster while I'm sitting on the exam table, right? So the thing is, you know, with those exam tables, you know, they got the paper that you sit on. Sweaty ass on the exam table, crying, sheet over my legs, you know, naked from the middle down. And it's time for me to have the exam. So I needed to scoot forward so I could lean back and assume the position with my feet in the stirrups, right? Side note for you folks that don't know me, I'm 4'10". And so when I'm sitting on the exam table, my legs are dangling. I cannot reach the stool that's underneath there that helps you get up. I'm now crying because I realize I can't scoot forward because the paper is stuck to my ass. Who does that happen to? Me. I explain the situation, so I get off. The doctor ripped that paper off so quickly. It was like a ninja doctor with the paper. And then his clinical assistant put down basically a dog pee pad that I could sit on because I was so sweaty. It was fantastic. Yes, it was great. Fast forward, I was able to scoot into position, and the exam happened, and then he explained that he was able to get one finger in. He wouldn't consider two, let alone a penis, because it was so tight. I was like, what happened here? He suggested physical therapy. And I was like, what are you talking about? Like, how does that work? Physical therapy for my vagina? Really? Let's let that register for a moment. I had absolutely no idea what he was talking about. Vaginal cream, estrogen cream, sexual health, physical therapy. Physical therapy for my vagina. It's a thing. I couldn't believe it. Do they have commercials for physical therapy for vaginas? No, they don't. Having had this conversation with him, I started talking to my friends and my sister, and so many of us we don't know. Again, we don't know what we don't know. He prescribed the cream. I went and picked it up, and I went and had my first physical therapy appointment. Let's talk about this cream. All right, estrogen cream. All right, you get your cream, one applicator, okay? You have to put this in your vagina every day for 2 weeks, and then twice a week for the rest of your life. Or you can't have sex again. One applicator. I am all about recycling and saving the planet and such. I have to wash my vagina applicator every day. Like, that's just super gross. I had my first physical therapy appointment. It was so completely eye-opening and amazing. This woman spent 45 minutes with me discussing things that no male doctor has ever discussed. And I'm not dissing male doctors. I still do like my GYN. But having a woman talk to you and help you understand why your body is doing what it's doing, and gave me exercises so that I could start helping my pelvic muscles release, and then also build my core. Again, watch the video about me so you can understand why my core is shit, and I basically feel like I'm rolling around on the beach like a fat walrus when I'm trying to get out of bed. Anyway, I have some props. One of the things that we're going to do is vaginal dilators, or the vaginal wand. Here is a display of the dilators that I may potentially be using. I am not using them yet. I am not at that point yet to use them. I'm still just doing the muscle relaxation with the physical therapist. Looking at these props, you can see that the dilators start very small and they get very big. And just, again, mentioning that this is a medical condition, it's going to take months for me to be able to get anything bigger than a marker in there. What's interesting is that there will be a lot of practicing daily. I will have to do something daily in order to keep it. I have a couple things to say here. The handle that gets attached to the dilators, you can see in the photos. When with the dilators, it's so interesting. I am instructed to designate a place in your home that is comfortable for your training. Choose a place that is quiet and comfortable. I was just going to do it on the kitchen counter, by the window. Begin your training by breathing in and allowing your belly to expand, followed by exhaling, allowing the belly to slowly fall. Carefully insert and exhale. Keep the trainer inserted and repeat the slow, deep breathing for 10 to 15 minutes. So you're basically meditating with something in for your vagina. That's fantastic. What I love about the wand, after insertion, gently press the wand into the internal tissue and move the wand clockwise until encountering a tender point. When you find that tender point, gently compress the end of the wand into the tender point with the same firmness you would use to check for tomato ripeness. Don't press too hard. You don't want to squash that tomato. So, I'm making fun, but it does make sense. Once ever I can start using these things, again, not on camera, I'm not going to squish my tomato. So anyway, in the meantime, I will keep you apprised of my stuff and help everyone understand what crazy journey this is. I'm beginning the journey. There's going to be a lot more to talk about. I appreciate you indulging this part of the conversation. In the meantime, I am going to bring in our first guest of our first show. Her name is also Jennifer. And the thing is, she's not going to be on camera, so you get to see my lovely face while she talks. And not everyone wants to talk about their girly parts on the internet, and I don't know, I don't have that problem. Jennifer, talk to me. Do you have experience with tight vaginas?
I don't actually, or at least that was not what I was experiencing. I was experiencing with my first husband a lot of pain, but it was a tearing issue more than a tight vagina issue. Yeah.
Your vagina tore.
Yeah. So my my first husband was had pretty significant girth, and so
his penis was so big, it tore your vagina.
Yeah, that I mean, not the inside portion of it, but as you would enter, the bottom part, I guess you say, it's right near the perineum, would rip. So it's similar to what women who go through childbirth experience, although obviously theirs is far more extreme. But yeah, I would get constant tearing there, and I finally talked to my gynecologist, and I was like, I don't know what to do. I mean,
not to interrupt, but kind of like a constant episiotomy.
Very close to it.
I've never had one. I've seen one happen. Helped a girlfriend deliver her baby, but oh my God. Okay, sorry. Continue.
So not great. So what my gynecologist recommended is a surgery wherein he made an incision between the inside and the outside of the vagina and pulled some of the vaginal lining down and out and then reattached it on the outside to give a bit more, I guess, stability. I'm not exactly sure what it was supposed to do.
So kind of like when you have an Audi belly button, kind of some of your vagina is now on the outside.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So that was fun. And so I did end up having to use, they didn't call them dilators at the time, but again, my gynecologist said nothing. I mean, my husband was like, as soon as, we're done with this healing, we're going to be back at it. And I was like, no, because that's going to be really painful, I got to think, because it still hurts down there. So it was my idea. I came up with hey, why don't I actually went and bought fishing lures that were...
the ingenuity of this woman to come up with fishing lures.
You take obviously you take the hooks out, but those were the only things I could think of that were kind of the right size to start with.
Like the weights.
Well, they were like shaped like fish. They were elongated.
Oh.
Yeah. So these are the things that I would try and use, and I wanted him to go and help purchase something that was of a similar size, and that really freaked him out. He was very uncomfortable going to a shop to try and find a sex toy that would be equivalent to him. So I was kind of on my own.
Well, and then I don't think we really had the option to get that kind of stuff shipped. Like today, you can go on Amazon.com and receive. Okay.
No, had to actually go. So anyway, so that was my experience with painful intercourse. Different than yours, certainly, but also something I'd never spoken about until you and I started talking about this show. And I started mentioning, and actually made me stop talking about it because it was so distressing to you.
Oh my God, when she first told me about it.
She's like, okay, I've had enough.
Yeah.
And that is...
In my defense, it was just after my situation, so I was experiencing some PTSD.
Oh, no doubt. But this is
the first time I learned about the fishing lures, I gotta tell you. This is fantastic.
You gotta save some stuff. But this is why, you don't generally go out and talk to people, your friends and family, about, hey, my vagina was ripping, and so I had this surgery.
And I'm gonna go play with fishing lures.
Yeah. So I was really thankful when you suggested this show. I thought, what a great way for people to learn about their own bodies, because we're not going to talk to each other clearly about it. Yeah. And doctors are not always the most helpful or informative of folk.
Back to being your own advocate.
Yeah. So I'm very thankful that you've done this show. Yeah.
Thanks for being a part of it
Absolutely.
and helping me film.
Of course.
I'm glad that ultimately resolved for you,
It did.
and you stopped tearing and didn't need more surgery. And got rid of the fishing lures, or do you fish with them?
No, got rid of the fishing lures. Oh, got rid of the husband too. So.
Oh, bonus. I talked about estrogen cream, you know, this stuff with the one applicator that I threw somewhere.
Which, why do they not make those into like little capsules like the Vagisil? Why would that not be a smarter innovation?
Or
than
give
a
you
pill?
an applicator that's made of the cardboard like tampons are made of.
Something, but that just seems
I don't
ridiculous,
understand. But
okay.
it was probably developed by a guy.
Well, there we are.
No offense, guys. I mean, we are talking about the things that we do get ignored about. So, creams.
Yes.
Have you ever used any cream?
I have. I've not used that vaginal cream that you have. I recognized it when you showed it to the camera. That was actually what I started with before the surgery. That's what they thought. I guess it would kind of increase the uterine lining.
Yeah.
And or the vaginal lining, sorry. And so that was what I had tried first, and it was useless for me. Another cream that I found was useless again for me was something that my gynecologist called Scream Cream.
Ooh,
or
screen cream.
Dream Cream. Yeah,
Dream
apparently it is a cream that you can put on the external portions of your vulva and your clitoris, and it is supposed to increase the blood flow and sensation. So I was having difficulty orgasming, and again, not my husband's fault, because I couldn't even make myself orgasm while I was masturbating.
Wow.
Yeah, it was pretty significant.
Wow.
So what he suggested is, give this a try and see what he thinks. Burns like fire, just FYI.
Who doesn't like a little fire in their vagina?
I tried it a few times, and you have to do it. It's kind of like a Viagra, although they get a pill, we get a cream. You take it, you put it on 30 minutes prior to anticipating having sex. It's supposed to last for a couple hours. I don't know. I noticed a very significant discomfort and pain upon initial use. Lasted maybe just a minute or two, and then nothing.
Scream cream. It makes sense. You put the fire in the vagina and it makes you scream.
Oh, yeah. I don't think that's what they were going for when they called it that, but that's pretty much what it was.
I just did a quick search here. It seems that it's a compounded cream. It is a prescription.
It is, but you can't get it from like CVS or Walgreens. You have to go to a compounding pharmacy.
And it is made of sildenafil and nitroglycerin. Sildenafil is actually one of the ingredients in that new Sparks drug that you see all the commercials for. The guy commercials. Wow, scream cream. Yeah, fire in the vagina.
Yeah, and all those things started coming about, of course, through the beginning stages or even the later stages, I guess, of menopause. I don't know. I haven't even really looked at whether or not I have menopause, but I have to, because the night sweats, the exhaustion, the not being able to concentrate. So I was going through a time where probably 6 years, I was taking a nap every day. It didn't matter how long I slept, didn't matter whether I went to bed at the same time, whether I slept through the night, I was up in the middle of the night, whatever. I woke up, I was exhausted, and then I was, had to take a nap. But of course, night sweats, those were fun. I'd wake up and I'd actually have a puddle on my chest that I could, those were delightful. Sleeping through the night was never, ever happening. I mean, I was up in the middle of the night all the time. And my brain was just kind of gone. And so I really thought something more than just menopause, because again, you look on the internet and you're like, what
I have diagnosed myself with so many things on the internet, by the way.
You don't know. And then I'm like, well, I have that are symptoms that are slightly different. I mean, some of these are the same, but they're not. So I finally talked to my general practitioner. I'm like, there has to be, am I low on B12? Am I low on D3?
Yeah.
What is it? I need something for energy. Can you give me a B12 shot? And she's like, you know what? I want you to see this guy right here.
Okay.
And it was a gynecologist. And I went in and I talked with him and explained. He says, oh yeah, you got low testosterone.
Wait, what?
I said,
Women can get low T?
I did not know this until I had this conversation. Yeah, you see low T on the TV all the time.
All the time for the guys.
All the time for the guys. Ever see low T commercials for women? No. So yeah, apparently, and so he says, let's do a blood test and check it out. He says, but this is what it sounds like. This is pretty okey. So we do a test, and apparently...
Lady low T. LLT. Sorry. Continue.
So apparently... for a woman my age, I was supposed to have, or women are supposed to have, in general, approximately 300 to 350.
And for your age, 56.
Yes.
Okay, 56 years old. All right.
So, but whether or not that's the right level for my age, or whether that's just women in general, but women, he said your levels should be between 300 and 350 of testosterone. Okay. And I was 15.
Wow.
Yeah. So I had none, and
You couldn't get it up. Sorry. Again, comedic take on what we're going through.
So we talked about several different options, and there are pills that one can take. There are creams that you can use. You apply to your skin, and it goes. But those apparently have really high peaks and valleys, and so it's up and down, up and down, up and down. But what he recommended. And I don't recommend this for everyone. And this is, like you said, this is not a show to give guidance or advice. I'm saying this is what I did. This is what I chose to do. This is what I feel works well for me. It may not be right for everyone else. But they're testosterone pellets. Ooh. And so, it's got to slice a little bit into the old butt fat and stick the pellets in. Oh yeah, it's fun. And, and then, kind of just put pressure or a Band-Aid to close up the little, the hole that he's made. And
the human body really is amazing. That skin can heal itself, and
pretty incredible.
That's crazy.
So anyway, I got this.
You get butt pellets.
I got butt pellets, and within 3 weeks, without a question, transformational. I was sleeping through the night. I had energy. My sex drive was back. I mean, it was It was like I was a normal human being again.
Low T for women.
Low T for women.
LLT. How long have you been on the treatment?
About a year and a half.
Year and a half.
Mm-hmm.
Do you get your blood work checked often?
Yes. Okay. I get my blood work checked every 6 months.
And where's your levels now?
They are right around the 300 to 310.
Fantastic.
Yeah. So I get the pellets about every just over 3 months.
Okay.
And every other time I get some estrogen pellets as well as the testosterone pellets.
Okay.
I don't do that every time. And yeah, it's really, really made
life transforming.
Huge difference.
Wow. I just had no idea. Mm-hmm. Just phenomenal and insane. But this is what I'm talking about. This is why I'm doing this crazy show. This is why I'm here. Looking at my face where I don't think I actually look like this. Because we don't talk about this until I am super awkward and I brought it up, and this has just brought a deluge of conversations that we need to have. And so that's what this show is going to be. Again, it's not medical advice. It's not a medical show. It's, if anything, be your own advocate. This is giving you information that you need to know. And, I had one person say, well, I'm sure somebody's going to talk about it somewhere. Some doctors online talking about it. Well, yeah, they may be. But
who wants to listen to that?
Who doesn't want to look at this? Huh? Who doesn't want to look at this?
I would rather laugh about the foibles that we all go through and just try and find humor. Yes. Try and find the humor in the horror. Than to sit and listen to some doctor ramble on,
if they do
find that information.
But I just want to back up for a second to the night sweats with the menopause. I'll share one funny story before I do my closing statement here. I was having one particular evening, of some pretty severe night sweats, and my ex apparently decided to reach over in bed and give me some little love, and I was experiencing like just puddle night sweats. So he thought he was going to help and take the cover off, because when you're having night sweats, you're not hot. And so he he almost died. It was not a good night for him. So guys, if your lady's having some night sweats, don't touch her. Just let her go. She's dealing with it enough. When she wakes up in the puddle, she's gonna know what happened. All right, so I just want to remind that for our future episodes, so much to cover. We're going to talk about breast reductions and the difficulties that some women experience, and hair loss. I had a hair breakage situation, and I'll talk about that again in the video about me, but I am in a hair journey to get my beautiful long hair back. Prolapsed uterus, when that organ's coming out of your vagina, because that's fun. Uterine fibroids, personal experience. Parasitic fibroids, personal experience. Ovarian cysts, personal experience. Body dysmorphia, weight loss, and being your own advocate. And then so many other ideas that I know we're going to come up with to talk about, and I'm going to be interviewing friends, and I encourage people to like and subscribe and share, because ladies, we have to share. Topic suggestions. I would love topic suggestions. It's an interactive show, and it's a show for all of us. I would have to ask, though, if there's any lady out there who's had a teratoma, please let's talk. For you folks that don't know what a teratoma is, Google it to be mortified and have nightmares for the rest of your life. But just to give you an idea, it's an ovary that grows hair and teeth. Yes, ovaries can grow hair and teeth. Anyway, tuning out for some lady news. I am your humble host, Jennifer. We will see you next time. Some lady news, saving one vagina at a time.
Some lady news.